Hello and welcome to Nikolay's genetics lessons, and today I have prepared only one question for you. A blank space, you have to choose the correct answer, is a group of genes or DNA sequences that are inherited together on the same chromosome. And here is the four answers to choose from. Answer D, phenotype. And phenotype we call something that such traits that we can see visually. For example, color of your hair, color of your eyes, skin color, and many other traits that we can see visually we call phenotype. Heteroplast, answer C. This is term not from the genetics but from the surgery. We call heteroplastic such operations where we take a graft from different individual or even different species, and recipient would be one person and donor would be another person. Of course, in such cases, the closest recipient and donor would be genetically, there more chance of success of such an operation. And even if recipient and donor would be close relatives like mother and son or siblings, still in order for success, immunosuppressant would be used. In most cases, of course, if someone has a burn, a skin graft from the same person would be taken, but from the different place, for example, from the back or from the leg. So, but in cases where person have severe burn, most of his skin would be gone, then such grafts from the different person can be an option. So answer B, genotype. Genotype is changes to our DNA sequence that encode proteins. Sometimes different genotypes is not resulted in different phenotypes. Sometimes different sequence doesn't have any effect on the shape of the proteins. But sometimes even single point mutation in the DNA sequence of the gene may cause very serious health problems. So, as I said, sometimes genotype means different phenotype, sometimes genotype doesn't cause any changes to phenotype. But we are talking about genotype when we talk about DNA sequence of the organism or of the particular gene or even small part of the gene. And answer A, as you now guessed, is the correct answer, haplotype. But I want to make my video, the rest of my video, explaining you what is a haplotype is, because not many people understand this conceptual idea. And this picture would help me to explain you what is a haplotype is. Many people mistake a haplotype for haploid organism, where instead of two sets of chromosomes, organisms have only one set of chromosomes. There are some organisms that have only one chromosome instead of two. Some plants can be haploid, and of course gametes are haploid. I mean sperm that males produce and egg cells that females produce. And another misconception that haplotype when we take from each pair one chromosome. So for example, one chromosome from each pair would represent chromosomes from the father side, another chromosome from each pair would represent chromosomes from the mother side. And this is also misconception, because from this picture I can tell you only one chromosome can be considered haplogroup, and this is Y chromosome. So all the rest chromosomes, as you know, during meiosis would exchange their arms. For example, this can be chromosome number 1, and during process of meiosis all chromosomes would double, so we would see chromosome number 1 like this, and they also would line up with chromosomes inherited from, say this is chromosome inherited from the father side, and here would be another homologous chromosome inherited from the mother side. It also would double, and we would see a tetrasome here. So tetrasome would be connected at the point that we call centromere, and we have here two sister chromatids here that form one tetrasome, and these two non-homologous chromatids would exchange the genetic material through the process of crossing over. So crossing over may happen here and here, so anywhere along these two adjacent chromatids. So what we may get after meiosis, we may get one chromosome that were sister chromatid of this one, another one we can get that would consist or would be result of the crossing over or recombination. So this may look like this. So half would be the old one and half would be result of crossing over. Another one also can be look like this, also would be product of recombination, and another one can be in its original form. So this is something that you usually can see in your genetics textbooks, and due to constant exchange of materials between homologous chromosomes through the process of crossing over, all these chromosomes always in constant change. Even though this chromosome didn't change in next cycle, it's also may be in different organism, in progeny, also may be result of crossing over. So all the chromosomes in our organism are results of crossing over. So over the time each chromosome would accumulate such changes, so it is process like a flow of information. But once again, if we'll return to this picture, you can see that Y chromosome doesn't have a pair. It has a pair of X chromosome, but Y chromosome and X chromosome doesn't exchange information, doesn't participate in crossing over. Actually, they do have homologous sequences on the tips, and they may exchange genetic information in those tips, but there are few genes in those sequences, and they are on the tips of each chromosome. So most of the chromosome that is between these two homologous regions wouldn't be exchanged. So we never would see Y chromosome with long arm of the X chromosome or vice versa. But X chromosome in females, as you know, so this is genotype of the male, this is karyotype of the male, but in females have two X chromosomes. So during meiosis, females X chromosomes also would exchange genetic information, and both X chromosomes would participate in crossing over. So as you see, out of 23 pairs of chromosomes, out of 46 chromosomes, only one chromosome is not changed. So we can give our Y chromosome to our sons, and they would give to their sons, and they would give to their sons. without any changes to this Y chromosome. So we can say that Y chromosome represents a haplogroup. So imagine that we have a family here. So here is a mother, here is a father. Mother has 2 X chromosomes. She got 1 X chromosome from her mother side, another X chromosome from her father side, and male has 1 X chromosome and also has Y chromosome. So if this couple would have 2 children, say a male and female, what would happen during meiosis? Female would produce gametes, and these 2 X chromosomes would participate in crossing over, and what we can see in this female, that she would inherit from her mother 1 X chromosome that can be a result of crossing over, so would look like this, and another X chromosome unchanged from her father side, because on her father side X chromosome doesn't have a pair for crossing over. So in male we also can see a chromosome from X chromosome from his mother side that would be a result of crossing over, and we also may see Y chromosome that he got from his father side, and this chromosome is not changed, so it is identical to what his father had. And once again, if this male would marry to another female, and this female would marry to other male, and if they would have also children, what going to happen? So once again, let's assume that children are male and female in each couple. So this female here, her genotype of the X chromosomes can be X and say another blue X chromosome, and what this female on this picture would inherit from her mother side. Once again, this can be a combination of 1 X chromosome with another X chromosome, and from father side she's going to get another X chromosome that would be intact, and so pink color here, and male here would get Y chromosome that is going to be intact from his father side, and from his mother side he can get recombinant X chromosome. So as you see, this Y chromosome would be transferred from one generation to another generation without any changes. And for example, if we finish here, so this male would have 1 X chromosome. Let me choose the color yellow color, and say this color for his Y chromosome. His son would inherit Y chromosome from his father, and from his mother he may get another recombinant X chromosome that may look like this, and as a result of recombination we may see a green and pink color here. So once again we have 2 colors here, we have green color here, and recombination say between these 2 arms may result that we may see green color here, red and pink. So this is just representation of what's going on with all the chromosomes and with X chromosome, but as you see, Y chromosome would be inherited intact from father to son. And of course, here we can see intact X chromosome inherited from the father side by this female, and recombinant X chromosome inherited from her mother side. So in next cycle, say this chromosome also can be inherited by the progeny, and these two chromosomes would exchange the genetic material through process of crossing over. So only Y chromosome would be inherited without any changes. So Y chromosome represent haplotype, but this is not the end of the story. I want you also to pay attention to this word group. So what is the haplotype group? Imagine that here is a chromosome that is not sex chromosome. Say this is chromosome number 1, this is autosome, and as I already said, only Y chromosome can be considered haplogroup or haplotype, and when we have, say, chromosome number 1, during the process of crossing over, so we have another chromosome. Those I'm using different color. This is the same chromosome but inherited from, say, father side. So this is homologous chromosomes. During process of meiosis, they doubled the genetic material and made their copies, and now they are connected at the centromere, and crossing over may happen anywhere, say here or here or here, here or here. So if you think that all these chromosomes over the time, over the generations, would completely change because crossing over can happen in any place, this is not exactly so. So let me draw a bigger picture. So this time I'm just going to use these two chromatids. So this is homologous chromatids. This is part of tetrasome, but I only use this time only these two to demonstrate what really happens during crossing over. Crossing over happens usually in the same spots or that are very close to each other. So basically we have hot spots where crossing over usually happens. So it is not even event along the whole length of the chromosome, but basically it is happens in such places that we call hot spots. Now you can see boxes here that would be inherited as one intact group of genes, and this group of genes would be inherited for many generations together. So inside we may have many genes. So each such line would represent different genes, and those genes that would be inherited together generation after generation we call haplotypes, and different haplotypes have different names. For example, this would be one haplotype, second, and third. And each chromosome has her own haplotypes, and if we consider the whole population, and if we consider that this is going to be allele of haplotype, all the different variants of these haplotypes would make one haplogroup. So haplogroup would be all haplotypes found in this locus in particular population. So haplogroup in France, for example, would be different from haplogroup in Russians, and this haplogroup in Japan would be different from the rest, from China, Korea, and so on. So in United States, it's very popular such a service that 23andMe company offers to tell you what is your ancestry, because United States is like melting pot. People usually lose their roots and they don't know where their ancestors from. So when you send your DNA to such a company, they may see what haplotypes you have, to which haplogroup this particular haplotype belongs to, and they can say that you have 20% of your ancestors that are, say, from East Europe, and 80% of your haplotypes that can be found in Middle East haplogroup. So once again, let me read the question, and as you see, the correct answer would be answer A. A haplotype is a group of genes or DNA sequences that are inherited together on the same chromosome. I hope my explanation were clear enough. Now you know what is a haplotype, what is a haplogroup. And this is all for today. If you have any questions, comments, please do not hesitate to write me, and you can also send me your problems that you cannot solve by posting underneath any of my videos in comment box. And this is all for today. See you in the next video. Goodbye.